Hey everyone, I'm Sana. We hear that word inflammation thrown around all the time, right? But what if I told you there's a sneaky, silent version of it that could be affecting your health right now? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to talk all about chronic inflammation and how the food you eat, yeah, the food on your plate, might just be your biggest weapon against it. So let's dive right in.
All right, so here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to figure out what this chronic inflammation thing even is. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the foods that are basically fanning the flames, and, way more fun, the foods that help put the fire out. We'll also look at some lifestyle stuff that goes beyond your diet, and we'll wrap it all up with a simple action plan you can start using like today.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. What exactly is this silent, smoldering fire people talk about?
You know, at its heart, inflammation is actually a good thing. I mean, think about it. You get a cut on your finger, right? What happens? It gets red, a little puffy. Well, that's your immune system. It's rushing in to protect you, to heal that tissue. It's a short-term, totally necessary process that helps us survive.
But, and this is the really important part, that helpful, quick response is what we call acute inflammation. The problem starts when that on switch never gets flipped off. That's when you get chronic inflammation. It's long-term, it's low-grade, it's all over your body, and a lot of the time you don't even know it's there. And that is what's behind so many modern health problems.
And we're not talking about small stuff here. The stakes are incredibly high. I mean, research has linked this long-term inflammation to some of the biggest health challenges out there. Things like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, even some cancers and autoimmune issues. So yeah, this stuff really, really matters. So what's actually causing this internal fire to keep burning? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is on our plates. Let's talk about the foods that are the main culprits. All right, number one on the list, added sugar. And just to be clear, I'm not talking about the natural sugar in, say, a piece of fruit. I'm talking about all that stuff packed into sodas, candy, and so many processed foods. When we have too much of it, our body basically goes into panic mode and releases these little inflammatory messengers, kind of like it's sounding an alarm bell all over your system. And right along with sugar, you've got refined carbs. Think white bread, pastries, a lot of those sugary breakfast cereals. They've had all the good stuff, like fiber, stripped out. So what happens? They hit your bloodstream like a lightning bolt, cause a huge blood sugar spike, and that just feeds the inflammatory fire. The kind of fats we eat is also a huge deal. Of course, trans fats are a big no-no, but it's also about balance. You see, a lot of processed foods are swimming in what are called omega-6 fatty acids, usually from oils like corn and soybean oil. Now, we need some omega-6, but the problem is our diets are totally out of whack. We're getting way too much of that and not nearly enough of the good anti-inflammatory omega-3s. That imbalance, that's a recipe for inflammation. In last but not least, processed meats. Yeah, I'm talking bacon, sausage, deli meats. When these are made, they can form these nasty compounds, scientists call them AGs for short, that are just really, really inflammatory once they get inside your body. So when you step back and look at this list, you start to see a pattern, don't you? It's pretty much a roadmap of the standard Western diet. All these foods together can create this constant, low-level buzz of inflammation. The big takeaway here isn't to panic. It's just to start noticing. Start reading labels and just become a little more aware of where this stuff is hiding.
Okay, enough with the bad news, because this is the really exciting part. There are so many amazing, delicious foods that do the exact opposite. They actively fight inflammation. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about what we should be eating. First up, berries. Oh man, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, these guys are like little anti-inflammatory superheroes. They are absolutely loaded with antioxidants and something called polyphenols. You can think of polyphenols as your body's personal security detail, going around and calming things down, neutralizing threats. And then you've got your dark leafy greens. We're talking spinach, kale, all that good stuff. They're packed with vitamins and minerals, like vitamin K, that are known to have really powerful anti-inflammatory effects. You've heard the saying, eat the rainbow, right? Well, the green part is super, super important. Okay, let's talk healthy fats because this is so cool. Fatty fish, like salmon and sardines, are packed with these amazing omega-3s. And here's the best part. Your body literally uses them as the building blocks to create molecules that turn off inflammation. It's like sending in the cleanup crew after the party's over to put everything back in order. And you can't forget about your spice rack.
Turmeric has this amazing compound in it called curcumin, which is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories ever studied. It's incredible. But here's a little pro tip for you. Always have it with a little bit of black pepper. There's something in the pepper that boosts your body's ability to absorb that curcumin by, get this, up to 2,000%. And of course, things like ginger and garlic are amazing too.
So, here's your anti-inflammatory shopping list, your cheat sheet for the grocery store. The theme is pretty obvious, right? It's all about real, whole, colorful foods. And please, don't think of this as a list of rules or restrictions. Think of it as a list of delicious, powerful ingredients you get to add into your life.
Now, eating right is absolutely huge. It's the foundation, but it's not the whole story. To really tackle inflammation, you need to look at the bigger picture. It's really supported by 3 other key pillars.
So pillar number 1 is movement. Getting regular, moderate exercise. The guideline is usually about 150 minutes a week. It has these incredible anti-inflammatory effects. It just helps your whole system run better, helps regulate your immune system, and it helps you maintain a healthy weight, which is another big factor. Pillar number 2, sleep. And honestly, this one is just non-negotiable. 7 to 9 hours a night. That is when your body does all its heavy lifting, repairing, regenerating. When you're constantly short on sleep, it puts a massive amount of stress on your body, and that just cranks up those inflammatory markers. And finally, pillar number 3 is all about managing stress. See, when you're stressed out all the time, your body is stuck in this high alert fight or flight mode, and it's just pumping out hormones that drive inflammation. This is where things like mindfulness, meditation, even just taking a few deep breaths or getting outside in nature can make a huge difference. It directly calms that whole system down.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information, and it's easy to feel a little overwhelmed, right? Like, where do I even begin? So let's make it super simple. Let's break it all down into a really easy action plan to get you started.
Look, you do not have to change everything overnight. That's not the goal. The goal is to start small. So step 1, just add more color. Seriously, can you add some berries to your breakfast? A handful of spinach to your smoothie? Step 2, swap your sip. Just replace one of those sugary drinks you might be having with a glass of water or some herbal tea. And step 3, spice it up. The next time you cook, just be generous with things like turmeric, ginger, and garlic. It's these tiny, consistent steps that really add up and create a healthy lifestyle that actually lasts.
The science on this is really clear. The power to cool down that internal inflammation, a huge part of it is in your hands. It's on your plate and in your daily habits. And remember, this is not about being perfect. It's just about making one good choice and then another one. So I'll leave you with this one simple question to think about. What's the first anti-inflammatory food you're going to add to your plate?